All right, so I was going through the comments this morning and someone mentioned a Dilbert comic and a LifeSuck 3000. So I decided to just put the phrase LifeSuck 3000 into ChatGPT, and on one response it didn't know what it was. On the other one, it knew what it was. So I cut that out of ChatGPT, I put it back in, and I asked it to generate a script. First, it was two talking points, then I asked it to turn it into a script that I could read. And then that seemed too long because morning videos are 10-minute videos. So then I cut it to two talking points. And what you guys are going to hear are the talking points that I came up with for this particular device. Remember, this is a fictional device, but we all know, just like Fleece, who's supposed to be fictional, all of us are walking around holding our rear end and wondering when the fleecing is going to stop. So it came up with these two titles for the talking points: corporate culture and employee burnout, and the illusion of stability and career growth promises. Both of these have been very popular on this channel as of late because ChatGPT continuously tells me that what's wrong in America isn't so much that there isn't money. It's the fact that the stagnant wages, the burnout, and the employment instability, not just for me, who probably isn't going to have a job by this time next week because of my disrespecting the senior staff, but just because we all hate going to work with a passion. It's not a little hatred. We really hate work. When I'm sitting in my office and I'm looking at the security cameras and I imagine my boss staring at me and wondering why both my hands aren't on my keyboard and I'm not working nonstop for my entire shift, I scratch myself and I look at the cameras and I scratch myself some more. Then I'll pick my nose and look at the camera. And then if I'm feeling bold, I'll turn around, I'll scratch my rear while I look at the camera and I think to myself, he is absolutely 100% disgusted by me. And it's not just him. The entire proletariat is disgusting to rich people because they don't understand how we live paycheck to paycheck, how we complain when the price of eggs goes up, how we're not really big on tipping people that should be making more money. In fact, this is actually a talking point that I had with Gen Zero this week about how he was going to buy a pizza, but he didn't want to leave a tip. And I said, if you're going to pick it up in the store, you're not tipping the delivery driver. You're not tipping the cashier. You're not tipping a waitress. You don't give people money just because they're there and they look sad and there's a tipping jar. The only place that I think that you really need to tip and it makes you uncomfortable is the place that sells you the devil's lettuce. And I haven't been there in a long time. But at least here in Arizona, you have to pay for it cash or have some weird system where you always end up with a few bucks and they're just looking at you like, hey, I don't make much money here working at the devil's lettuce shop. How about dropping a couple bucks for your broski? And you always do. I always have. And it's a strange sensation. I don't know why that is. I've never felt that way anywhere else, but it feels like they're helping you out by giving you the ganja. Anyhow, with that said, that was a really long introductory monologue. Let's get into our two talking points and let's figure this out. All right, so here we go. This relentless push for productivity can leave workers feeling depleted, like they've been plugged into a LifeSuck 3000, where the day-to-day task, high demands drain not just their energy, but also their sense of fulfillment. This is what's so hard for me coming home every single day from Evil Corp, knowing that I just got unplugged from the LifeSuck 3000, and you don't want to know where it plugs into your body. On some days, it's a suppository. Other days, it grabs right onto your junk and it sucks the life force right out of Mr. Happy. Other days, it's a helmet you wear. And it's a helmet that helps you focus on working by depriving you of the ability to see your cell phone, to see the outside world. It literally puts you inside of a virtual work environment where nothing around you can be seen. You can't talk to your coworkers. It's like the ultimate isolation chamber. The only thing you can do inside of this helmet is work. That way, you're not distracted by the fact that you're hungry, the fact that you have nothing to eat at your house, the fact that you can't pay for your car payment or your rent, or your girlfriend's cheating on you with your brother. You can't think about any of those things because the LifeSuck 3000 helmet helps you focus. It gives you 1,000% more focus. And as it's causing you to focus, your dignity, your I guess your the humiliation and dignity and everything else drains right out of your rear drain into your pants. But then you take it off at the end of the day and you just collapse under the pressure of realizing, oh my God, I'm back in the real world. And I have to do something better than this. I can't let the LifeSuck 3000 be my whole life. I can't come to work and put on the LifeSuck 3000 for 8 hours every day. I'm not going to make it. And guess what? None of us are going to make it. That's the whole point of every one of my videos. If the point of making it in this life is getting to retirement age, but the retirement age is being raised, we don't have any savings to retire, and the only jobs available in the world for the 99% involve the LifeSuck 3000 being put on your head and Fleece Johnson being between your thighs. That's not a world I want to participate in. Frankly, that world's disgusting to me. And more modern corporate culture often promotes the idea of productivity at any cost, placing immense pressure on employees to constantly perform, often without adequate recognition or compensation. That's another part of this world that I don't want to be a part of. Adequate compensation for being in the LifeSuck 3000 to me sounds like a $250,000 a year job to start, not $10 an hour, not the federal minimum wage of $7.25, not the disgusting amount of unemployment insurance that you can get in Arizona that is just $200 a week. And right now, the friend that I have who lost her job at the call center 4 weeks ago just got a letter yesterday saying she doesn't qualify for unemployment because she lost her job based on performance. So there it is, folks. Even if you work for a year inside of the LifeSuck 3000 piece of crap soul sucking machine, they can still decline you $200 in unemployment benefits because it's your fault that you got fired. Moving on to talking point number 2. Many corporate jobs advertise stability and career growth, yet in reality, employees often feel stuck in positions with repetitive tasks, minimal advancement. This is my entire department. This is the entire technology department. When I got into that fight with that evil corporate executive, he didn't even know that how bad the employees had it. This week, after my explosion with the executive, where I said I wasn't going to take this anymore, it really came down to him realizing that all of these workers are stuck. These workers don't leave in the technology group because they have great opportunities elsewhere. We're stuck. These jobs are paying us the maximum amount of pro bucks that they can possibly pay us. And when we look around, you look at the pay at the 17 or $18 range, and you're like, what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with a $17 an hour job? It's not going to pay for housing. It's not going to pay for food. It's not going to pay for Susie Rottencrotch's medicine after she gets the crot rot, crot rot, the crotch krispies that all Susies carry around with them that Johnny Sixpack hopes he never gets, but chances are Susie's ready and packing between her legs the crotch krispies that are the gift that never goes away. Anyhow, moving on to the second part of this comment. Instead, the overworked increases as companies focus on maximizing output. It does. This is what happened to me again last week. They asked me to write down everything that I do so that I could show that I was always already being overworked. They looked at that and they're like, no, that's not being overworked. We're going to add more work to your workload. And then when you don't get it done, because they're going to rewrite my job description through HR, they are going to be able to fire me based on the fact that I can't meet those metrics. That's how they do these things, folks. It's evil. I mean, Evil Corp doesn't get evil in their name because they're friendly. The LifeSuck 3000 also has an attachment that's in the shape of a giant cucumber. The LifeSuck 3000 is never going to give you a chance at anything better than suffering at work. When the LifeSuck 3000's in the back and and you're not performing at a 1,000% productivity, believe me, there's going to be a setting on there that goes from mild motivation to shake and bake, and it's going to be a dial that every time you turn it up, the power in the building. When the LifeSuck 3000 gets turned up to its maximum setting of life of shake and bake, the lights in the building will dim. I kid you not, they will dim. You'll see, boo. And then as they turn it down because they need the power to run the computers, it will go back up, boo. And bam. That's how you use the LifeSuck 3000 efficiently. So this dynamic creates a cycle where workers end up sacrificing their well-being for a job that barely sustains them financially or emotionally. That's the big one that I don't come up and touch on enough. The emotional sacrifice to continue going to work, to know that you'll be standing at the copier 1 minute and suddenly warm, well, let's just call it cold hands. A cold hands and a freshly refrigerated hot dog. You feel it between your thighs. And you're like, Fleece, is that you? And he's like, it's going to be the hard way. And you're just like, oh, no, not this again. I'm already attached to the LifeSuck 3000 machine. Not this again. No, no, get off of me. Ah! And then it happens. And he walks away. He's like, remember, it's the hard way. And it's more important than food or water. Remember that. In order for the corporation to maintain complete control of your life, you have to understand that it was designed this way. Fleece, there's a fleece. There's a whole army of fleeces out there. No corporation just has one. I think the ratio for fleece to pathetic employee who can't afford to work there, that's a big part of it. You can't even afford to work there and you're there. And yet Fleece won't leave you alone for a second. He's always just waiting for you to do something. Bend over, drop the soap, who knows? Uh, Reach down to pick up something. Whenever you don't want it, it's there. It's like that. It's an abusive relationship that we all have with Evil Corp. And it's never going to stop because they're never going to take into consideration the fact that we need money. Remember what I said this week? We live in a moneyless society already because most of us don't have it. Most of us can't do anything. I mean, I'm going to spend my weekend here twiddling my thumbs. I think that's Mello messaging me right now about what she's doing today. But for the most part, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to jump into the shower right now in a few minutes. And that's it. That's the end. The highlight of my weekend is not getting fleeced for 2 days straight and letting my rear end heal up and letting them repair the LifeSuck 3000 machine at work because they're going to have to figure out how to make it work on solar power so the lights stop dimming in the building when they crank it up to the maximum setting. Anyhow, I hope you guys found this video. Remember, it's supposed to be super funny. I know my voice doesn't make it sound funny sometimes because I have to maintain some sort of like respectable tone so you guys can take it seriously, but at the same time, I hope you guys are cracking up out there.